I'm going to be completely honest with you. When I first heard about the 30-day no-spend challenge, I thought it was one of those internet trends that sounds great in theory but falls apart the second you try it in real life. No spending for an entire month? That seemed impossible. I still had bills, groceries, and, let's be real, I wasn't about to sit at home for 30 days eating rice and water. But I was also $1,200 in the red after a rough few months. So I decided to try it, not because I thought I'd succeed, but because I had nothing to lose. What happened over those 30 days changed how I think about money permanently. Today I'm walking you through exactly what I did, what went wrong, how much I actually saved, and what the challenge looks like if you want to try it yourself. First, let's clear up what a no-spend challenge actually is, because there's a lot of confusion online. A no-spend challenge does not mean you stop paying bills. It does not mean you stop buying groceries. It means you cut all non-essential spending for a defined period of time. No takeout. No new clothes. No subscription upgrades. No impulse Amazon purchases at midnight. No drinks with coworkers on Friday. You keep paying for shelter, utilities, transportation to work, basic groceries, and any medical needs. Everything else, entertainment, dining out, personal shopping, convenience spending, goes to zero. The goal isn't punishment. The goal is to reset your relationship with money and find out how much you're actually spending on things you don't need. Here's a simple breakdown. Allowed: rent or mortgage, utilities, phone bill, internet, groceries for meals you cook at home, gas or transit to get to work, any medications or healthcare. Not allowed: restaurants or takeout, coffee shops, clothing, shoes, accessories, household items that are not urgent, entertainment like movies, concerts, or streaming upgrades, apps, games, beauty and personal care beyond what you already have, and any subscription you can pause. The key word is non-essential. If your toilet breaks, you fix it. If your shoes fall apart and you need them for work, you replace them. Use your judgment, but be honest with yourself. Most of the things we call needs are actually wants we've gotten used to. So here's what my month looked like. Going in, I was spending about $2,400 a month. That sounds like a lot, but it was mostly just daily habits I'd stopped noticing. Lunch out 3 or 4 days a week, about $60. Coffee every morning, another $40 to $50. Random Amazon orders, probably $80 to $100 a month. A few drinks or dinners with friends, maybe $120. Clothes or shoes whenever I felt like it, another $100 or so. And various streaming services, apps, and subscriptions I'd forgotten about, easily $80 to $90 a month. That's roughly $500 to $600 a month in spending I could technically have avoided. That felt embarrassing to add up. Week 1 was the hardest. Not because I was physically suffering, because I was bored and uncomfortable. There's a reason we spend money impulsively: it feels good. Even buying a $4 coffee gives your brain a tiny dopamine hit. When you remove all of that, you start to notice how often you reach for your wallet not because you need something, but because you're bored, stressed, or just following a routine. I almost broke the challenge 3 separate times in week 1. Day 3, I almost ordered food because I had a terrible day at work and food was my default comfort. Day 5, a coworker invited me to lunch and I had to say no, which felt awkward and kind of lonely. Day 7, I saw a shirt I liked while walking past a store and stood outside the door for a full minute before walking away. I wrote all of these down. That habit, writing down every urge to spend, turned out to be the most valuable thing I did all month. By week 2, something shifted. The urges were still there, but they stopped feeling urgent. I started meal prepping on Sundays, which saved me both money and time during the week. I started making coffee at home, and honestly, it wasn't worse. I found free things to do: parks, library books, YouTube documentaries, cooking things I'd never tried before. My social life didn't disappear. I just shifted it. Instead of meeting friends at a restaurant, we met at someone's apartment and cooked together. That ended up being more fun anyway. I also started to notice how much mental energy I'd been spending on low-quality purchases. Browsing Amazon for things I didn't really need. Scrolling through sales for items I'd forget about in a week. Without the habit of buying, I had more headspace for things that actually mattered. Week 3 was where the real results started showing up. I checked my bank account halfway through the month and was genuinely surprised. I was on track to save more than I had in any month in the past year. But more importantly, I started to understand which of my usual expenses I actually missed, and which ones I didn't miss at all. The takeout? I barely missed it once I got used to cooking. The random shopping? I didn't miss it once. The coffee shop? That one I missed a little, honestly. The social dinners with friends? I missed the experience, but not the cost, because we found cheaper ways to do the same thing. This was the real insight: a lot of what I was spending money on wasn't making my life better. It was just filling time. Week 4 was almost easy. I had a routine now. I had momentum. I was also motivated by the numbers. I could see exactly where I was going to land, and it felt good. I did slip once at the very end. Day 26, I bought a $12 book. I'd been thinking about it for 3 weeks, so I decided that was a deliberate choice, not an impulse. Some people would say that breaks the challenge. I think buying something after 3 weeks of consideration is very different from an impulse click at midnight. By day 30, here's where I landed. My fixed expenses were the same: rent, utilities, transit. My groceries went up slightly because I was cooking every meal. But everything else dropped dramatically. Total savings compared to my average month, $534. In 1 month. Now, I want to be realistic with you. $534 isn't going to make anyone rich overnight. But that's $534 in a single month from spending I didn't actually need. That's $6,400 a year if you sustained it, which is enough to fully fund a starter emergency fund, or make a serious dent in debt. And the real benefit isn't the money alone. It's what you learn. After 30 days, I had a list of every category where I'd wanted to spend but didn't. When the month ended, I didn't immediately go back to all of them. I went back to a few, the ones that genuinely added value to my life. I dropped the rest permanently. My monthly spending after the challenge settled around $1,750 instead of $2,400. That difference, $650 a month, is still with me now, over a year later. So if you want to try this, here's how to set yourself up for success. Before you start, write down every subscription, every recurring charge, and every regular habit that costs money. Pause anything you can pause: streaming services, app subscriptions, anything with a free pause option. Then write down your rules clearly: what's allowed, what's not, and what your exceptions are, if any. The exceptions should be things like genuine emergencies, not "I really wanted it." Tell someone you're doing it. Accountability matters. When my coworker knew I was on a no-spend month, I didn't have to awkwardly say no to lunch every day. She started suggesting cheaper alternatives instead. Finally, and this is important, don't do this to punish yourself. The point isn't to suffer through 30 days and then go back to exactly how you were living before. The point is to find out which expenses actually improve your life and which ones are just noise. Once you know the difference, you can rebuild your spending intentionally instead of by default. You don't have to do a full 30 days right away. Start with a no-spend weekend. Or a no-spend week. Just enough to break the autopilot and start seeing your habits clearly. The money is the bonus. The real result is that you stop spending on things you don't actually want, and start keeping more of what you earn. I'll see you in the next one.